Before Nosferatu graced the silver screen, it was a whispered curse near the Carpathian Mountains. The term Nosferatu meant plague-bearer in Old Slavonic, a harbinger of death and despair tied to a legend that blurred myth and reality. The story begins in the 14th century, a time when the Black Death ravaged Europe. In a remote valley, the nobleman Vladislav ruled with an iron hand. But when his beloved wife, Ilona, fell victim to an unknown illness, despair consumed him. He turned to the region's whispered lore of Strigoi, undead beings said to defy death, in his search for a cure. Vladislav would need to renounce his humanity and pledge allegiance to Belial, a demon and lieutenant of Satan. Known in Christian demonology as the personification of corruption, Belial offered vampiric immortality in exchange for Vladislav's soul. The ritual required Vladislav to renounce the light of day and feed on the blood of the living. Under the blood-red moon, Vladislav performed the ritual. He gained eternal life, but at a terrible cost. Vladislav had unleashed a curse upon himself, becoming the first Nosferatu, a grotesque creature spreading pestilence and death. As the bird of death, he became a grotesque harbinger of pestilence and despair, cursed to wander the earth, spreading corruption. For centuries, Vladislav's curse haunted Eastern Europe. Villagers blamed outbreaks of plague on Nosferatu, grotesque beings spreading disease wherever they went. In Romanian folklore, Nosferatu were considered even more dangerous than Strigoi. While Strigoi were restless spirits or revenants, Nosferatu were soulless abominations, wholly disconnected from the divine. They could only be destroyed by complete incineration or decapitation, with their heads buried far from their bodies. When Nosferatu was adapted into film by Murnau in 1922, he likely drew from Bram Stoker's Dracula and local folklore. However, Murnau's Count Orlok was unlike the seductive Dracula. Orlok embodied the pestilential, rodent-like features of the original Nosferatu legend. His gaunt frame, elongated fingers, and sunken eyes mirrored the descriptions found in ancient folklore. What set Nosferatu apart was its parasitic nature, not just feeding on blood, but draining the life force of its victims, leaving entire villages barren and lifeless. The film captured this essence, solidifying the Nosferatu in popular culture as a symbol of unrelenting decay and inevitable death. Today, Nosferatu reminds us of primal fears, the shadow of death, and the price of ambition. It lingers at the edges of myth and reality, eternal and cursed.